Hey everybody, Tom Marks from IGN here with Rob Daviau, designer of Betrayal Legacy. We're going to dig into this and kind of show what's in the box.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be any huge spoilers here, right?
No, everything that we're about to show you is what you need to get started in the prologue on the first game. We're not going to dig into anything that would spoil the experience.
So, right off the bat, we've got tiles. What are the tiles we're looking at here?
These are the room tiles. If you played Betrayal at House on the Hill, you're familiar with them. So we've got some landing tiles and some of the tiles that you're going to find in the first game. As we'll see in a minute, the house grows. The game takes place over many generations, so the house gets bigger and bigger and new rooms come in. We also have some family crest tokens, small obstacles, large obstacles, and search tokens. And these are used, if the roof caves in, you might have a small obstacle in the room. It slows you down.
And then these, I do want to pop out. These are actually family boards, right? So there's a lot of information on these.
It's very similar to the Betrayal at House on the Hill board. This is the purple family. On the back, you'll write down all the generations as you play, like game after game through to 2004. On the front, those are what you're going to be looking at most of the time during the game. You have 4 stats. You have your sanity, your knowledge, your might, and your speed, like how fast you can move and how hard you hit, and so on and so forth, and a few actions that go on there. There are clips that go on here. We'll find them in a second that mark where you are in all of those.
We've got some more tiles. We've got some suspicious severed limbs.
Body parts, yeah, bright lights.
And then some more rooms, and these are actually outside as well, which is a change from the first game.
The original game has upstairs, ground floor, and basement. We've added outside region here, so there's 4 regions.
All right, there's a lot to dig through. I feel like this is a token-heavy game from what I'm seeing
The
so
game
far.
is very token-heavy. You may not use one or more of these even in the entire campaign, but you might use some of them quite often. Like these just represent small monsters, and they represent different monsters in different games. These are rune tiles. There's 2 sets of them. They're used in different ways in different games, like drawing a pair, or you need 3 different ones, and they represent sort of abstract different things you're trying to do.
We've got some number counters as well, a car.
Yeah, the car will probably not come out for a few generations, given you start in 1666.
Yeah. Be a little suspicious. Moving on, we're getting to really the bread and butter of a legacy game, where the legacy comes in, right? This is the, what is it called? Folium Infernum, which I kind of described earlier as an advent calendar of doom. This is a bunch of envelopes with numbers and letters on them that you only open up at certain times throughout the game when the game tells you to do so.
Exactly, the game will tell you to do so. If it's a letter, it's going to be a new rule that goes, a sticker with a new rule that goes in the rule book. If it's a number, it's going to be a different sticker that goes somewhere not in the rule book.
And we will leave this secret for you guys to open up on your own. We've also got, like you said, a lot of stickers. So where do these go? When are you going to use these? Because these are like the family crests mostly.
These are the family crests, and they go on different places, and you will be instructed of where they go and how to use them. But it's how the game gets marked from generation to generation to generation. Because it's a legacy game, you're going to play 14 games in a row, and it might be important that the green family has a mark on something that 4 games later becomes relevant. These are Heirloom stickers. They're a little bit different, which is why they're a different shape. Those only go on item cards, so that card is special to your family.
You can claim it as as a part of your family legacy, pretty much. Moving on, we've got a bunch of books, not just one rule book, but we've got the rule book, the Bleak Journal, the Trader's Tome, and then the Secrets of Survival. How do each of these kind of come into play?
Well, the rule book is the rule book.
Fair.
It's pretty much. And if you've played Betrayal, this is what the good guys look at, the heroes, when the haunt starts, and this is what the traitor looks at when the haunt starts. They've been organized a little bit differently, and at the front of each book, this is not a spoiler, is a sample haunt to show you how the new haunts are laid out. So you can just look at this and kind of walk through how to read them so you can start playing. The Bleak Journal is unique to the Legacy one, and it contains a few hundred different entries, of which you will read some to many that will tell your story of going through the house.
And so these are all numbered, so there will be a moment in the rules where it'll say flip to Bleak Journal entry number 105, and then you go there.
Exactly. You should not look at any of these books before you start playing.
In classic Legacy fashion, in the rulebook, there's also spots that say rules sticker B, D, C, all these different letters, and at certain points, you get new rules that you stick directly into the rulebook.
That's exactly it.
Change things as you go forward. Going past books, we have some sealed packets of cards. which I feel like should remain sealed in the spirit of the game. These are, what decks are we looking at
neither
here?
of those should be shuffled. None of those should be shuffled. So these two form what's called the Legacy deck. This is the narrator guiding you through the experience. So it tells you, stop, do not shuffle this, and then basically read the rules and get ready to play, and then you draw this card and you start turning them over and reading them. And at the beginning of every game, and in the middle of some games, you will draw many of these cards until you get to the end, and then you'll start deck 2. They're just 2 different decks because that's too big to do at the factory. There's nothing special thematically. This is the Purgatory deck. This you will be asked to draw cards from at random times, at random places. Well, random to you, very determined by me. So you might, I like to tell people you might kill a clown in the basement. It doesn't actually happen, and I'm really sad that it doesn't. And then the clown would leave a ghost, and it might tell you to find card 54, Ghost Clown, and add it to your game.
Well, I'm kind of disappointed that there's no
I know.
clown now. Is that a spoiler, no clown? We'll let other people decide.
No clown ghost in the basement, I'll say that.
Oh, so we're gonna leave these sealed because they're for you to figure out. They're not shuffled, so it would be a little disingenuous and a little spoilery to flip through them. But this smaller one is actually the starting deck. So these are all cards that you're gonna see and use monster and trader cards in the very, very first prologue campaign, which isn't too long. It's kind of just like a nice little intro, get into the game.
That was the hope. It's like about a 30, 35-minute game that kind of sets the story, teaches you the rules, and gets you into it.
So we have events, which have lots of different little effects on them, little bad things to happen. Oh, okay, I won't show the events. Yeesh. And then we have items, which...
we won't show the items.
We won't show the items, eh?
But if you played the game, it's items and events like the original Betrayal. There are no Omen cards at the start.
Right.
That is normal. So if you've played Betrayal, like, where are the Omen cards? They come out as you go.
And if you didn't play the original Betrayal, then you don't know what's going on.
You're like not even asking about Omen cards.
We've got a few more things. We've got the little minis, which I love to death. These are 5 different little player characters, and each of these guys have actual bases of your color.
Right, to match the player card. So if I was playing the purple family, I would always have the purple base, but in different chapters I could choose to play the older man or the little kid or the young lad with a torch. And I would say, oh, for this game I want to be, 18-year-old Brian. And so I would write on the back, Brian, 18, put the purple base on that, and that's my character. And then later on, I might play Brian's niece, Janet, and whoops, I would always have the purple base. And that would be Janet.
And otherwise, they're just aesthetic, pretty much.
They're just aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've also got some of these clips that you mentioned, which go onto the cards to mark what number you're on, and then a bunch of dice. There's 8 dice here, but these aren't just normal 6-sided die. I mean, they have 6 sides, but only 3 outcomes.
Yeah, they're 3-siders, 2 blanks, 2 1s, and 2 2s. So you roll these quite a bit in the game to determine whether you, in combat, or whether you successfully searched something, or ran away from the ghost clown in the basement, or whatever it is.
And then moving on, we have this big stack of things that we're also not going to open up. These are tile planks, is that right?
Yeah. They're basically the house getting bigger.
Okay.
Right, so we started with a small house, there's relatively few things, and then at the beginning of each chapter, it's almost like the legacy deck of tiles. It will tell you, take tile plank 1, punch these 3 tiles out, shuffle them in with the rest of the house. So every game, the house gets a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger.
Get some new rooms. Yeah, so you're not just going to always be seeing the same stuff over and over and over.
No, I've seen games where people are like, when did this room come in? And then they look, it's been in there for like 6 games and no one ever discovered it.
Wow. And then finally, the actual empty box, a nice little plastic shell to keep things organized, because there's a lot of little moving parts and bits and pieces going on here.
Yep. Let me just give a pro tip. So you unwrap this and you just put it right back in here, and then you unwrap the legacy decks and you just put them right in here, and you never have to take them out. You just draw right from the box and they're off to the side, so you won't accidentally pick up the wrong thing or open it or drop it or do anything like that.
Well, there's a lot to dig into. Obviously, we didn't show most of what you're going to be experiencing when you're actually playing through a campaign. But thank you so much, Rob, for breaking it down for us.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So we've got a full playthrough of Betrayal Legacy with Rob, where we play through the first prologue mission and then the first scenario after that. That will have a lot of spoilers for those first missions. We don't go beyond that, but if you do want to see that, you can check it out at the link below. And for everything else board games, keep it right here on IGN.